Thank you for joining us at Miniature Wargaming Labs, where today we'll be looking at 2 packs of Governor General's Army 1 and 2 produced by Crooked Dice. Now, looking at these packs, you can see on the label it says 12 pounds put on there. I bought these from Phalanx Consortium for $16. So this actually comes out to $4 a miniature for all 8 before shipping and handling and tax. So, look at the clear package. You can see that these are all metal miniatures. Now let's open these up. And we're back after assembly. That was actually surprisingly quick. So I've never bought Crooked Dice models before. They are done in metal. And so with metal, I'm used to doing a lot of mold lines. And they just weren't here. Probably the only time I ran into mold lines was on the berets, across the top of the berets and some of the boonie hats here. Even like one of the tricky parts that you normally find a lot of flash filling is whenever someone's wrapped around an arm around a weapon system. There's normally a lot of flash that fills in between the arm and the weapon system. Was not the case. The only real extra flash I had to clean off is when the model was holding a weapon like this. You could tell that the metal was fed in, so I had to clip a little bit there and clean in. But otherwise, very clean. I spent a lot more time cleaning models from Spectre Miniatures than I did these guys. So I was kind of surprised by that. But looking at these, let me explain why I bought these. So Crooked Dice Games isn't known for doing models for modern wargaming. Now when you look at these models, and they're named Governor General's Army, you can tell that the thinking was to do something from the 60s and 70s, the golden age of mercenaries in Africa, wild geese type stuff. And I've been looking at doing African campaigns before, but what I always find is the Africans forces, both insurgent and government, are always carrying AK-47s, AKMs. I wanted something different. These guys are carrying FN Falls, and now Governor General Army 1 does carry, this guy has a squad light machine gun to support them. But otherwise, they're all using NATO weapon systems. And that's what I was looking for. And honestly, when you look at these guys, they are dead on for Nigerian counterterrorism army police, the army, and actually all their forces use berets, and the Nigerians use FN FALs. They make them there locally. But I was also thinking, well, a lot of the African forces still wear this cut of uniform all over the continent. And so you can prime this, paint the beret, depending on the color will tell you the country and the service. But these models, I'm probably either going to use them for Nigeria against Boko Haram. These guys are like dead on for some of the pictures of Nigerian army and police out on the street corners away from the front. So a lot of the forces you see on the front with Boko Haram have their tactical webbing, AK-47s, and boonie hats. Some of these guys do have boonie hats. But you see a lot of the brigades assigned, closer to the coast are still in like their garrison uniforms. So they're wearing their berets. You could also use this for Rwanda, Democratic Republic of Congo conflicts, the first and second Congolese Wars. This guy would be dead on for Laurent Nkunda, aka the cheesemaker, ran one of the really bad militias down on the DRC border with Rwanda. So you could play some of the UN scenarios of trying to capture this guy. So I just found this gives a lot of difference from what you normally see out of African troops there. And to show that a lot of them were aligned with NATO and used NATO weapon systems. Actually, The Nigerians never met a weapon system they didn't like to buy. Horrible logistics. Horrible. Alright, so let's see how these guys will fit in with my pre-existing range. So we'll take these two gentlemen out and let's compare them to some Spectre minis here. And you can see is my Spetsnaz guy a hair taller. And a lot of that comes down since these guys are on metal bases that I glued on top of these bases is going to give them a slight height difference. So you can see they fit in very well with my 28mm Spectre miniatures. I also use Anvil Industry to create those models that they don't have good forces for. This guy's painted all in black, he's Iranian. But you can see here, just looking at the height wise, yep, that'll work. Something I wanted to point out is when you compare the weapons between Spectre, Crooked Dice, and Anvil, Spectre tries to go for a true scale, so a lot of these guys are really spindly. These guys, none of the rifles were bent when they were shipped to me, so I appreciate the packaging. But what you see is the rifles are a little bit chunkier to help the mold the casting process, but not as chunky as the Anvil Industries, but not as spindly as Spectre Operations. Really pleased with that. And another miniature company I like to use is Studio Miniatures when I need something that's more movie-like. So, got Jesse the Body Ventura, and his head just fell off. Now, Studio Miniatures says they're 28 scale, but they're more along the range of an older 28. So there's not been a lot of scale creep on them. But you can still see, they're hunched down. This guy's standing upright. So they're pretty on par. You could blend these guys in. So these would be my Predator Special Forces guys from the 80s. They'd mix in with African government forces from the 80s. So, very happy with that. So, looking at these models, you're looking at $4 a piece before shipping and handling and tax. Excellent sculpts. Really no cleaning whatsoever. Like I said, maybe the top of the berets, they have a slight mold line. But beautifully done in the manufacturing process. And they're just different and unique. And they've got character. They've got guys smoking, bandages on their hands, cravats, scarves there. That's awesome. So at $4 a piece, good sculpts, and they're different. I just don't see models with this kind of weapon systems on there. And it actually looks like they could be from several of the government services in Africa. So very happy buy. So thank you for joining us at Miniature Wargaming Labs, and we'll see you next time.